Let's see, we're recording. Awesome. Well, I am super excited for our guest today. I know all of you, I'm almost positive, Kristin Ahlgren coming in from Kailua, Hawaii. And just before we get started with our fabulous guest, Kristin with an IN also, I want to know has anyone been doing the cold showers yet with our transformational reset? I have, and I have to say, I know it was different in Hawaii, but I feel like I noticed a difference with my energy already. Casey did 30 seconds. That's part of our, we have a transformational reset going on. We kind of shifted our group to this, and it's been super awesome. So if you guys haven't been participating in it, no worries. If you want to, it's not too late, and it's not even too late to invite people. It's just a very gentle way to get people to the page, and there's drips of information in there on our products too. And if any of your people are having a hard time finding the to-do tasks, they're all in the units now. So like Julie Mize and Daisy's tasks for the week to win the prizes and just to hold yourself accountable are in the units. So anyway, so Kristin, so Dustin from corporate, he called me. He's like, I want you to be on the Flip the Switch call with Kristin Bailey. You two are going to love each other. And it turns out we do. She's super cool. She's just like, I think her team is similar to ours, and just they're very close, and they like to have a lot of fun. And it has been an absolute pleasure getting to know her. She's just a ray of light, as you guys saw on the Flip the Switch. If you missed it, then no worries. You're here today to hear her story. She has a very, very powerful story. And what I love about it, what I love about this partly what I love about this business is that everyone comes from a different background, and her and our stories are opposite, but yet we can still relate to each other's stories. And I love that we all have something unique to bring with our own personal story. So I was like kind of stalking my own Instagram, just like looking at my past posts, and I happened to find the one of me on stage when I hit Pro 6, and I actually had like this was in Cancun, I had like total Mexican belly, and I didn't even know I was going to go on, and I had no idea what I was going to say, and we had to say a quote. And what flew out of my mouth was F it. And so I thought they were going to ban me from talking anymore. I guess that didn't work. But I saw in the back, I saw her, she was on stage with me. So she actually, we were on Cancun Pro 6 stage together, which I didn't even realize. So our journeys are similar, but I just really appreciate you being here. And I think what is just so inspiring is that you had it in your mind that you are doing it. Like, you did not give excuses, and you had such a powerful why as to why you were doing it. So we just want to hear your story, and we want to pick your brain. We can open it up for questions at the end. Just how did you do it? I just want to know how your team does it. It's probably, similar to ours, but just, yeah, share away and be blunt. We're close. Like, you can swear, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. You guys, thank you so much for having me on. I told Kristin, I feel like I get to be like a unicorn for like a little minute, because I literally look at your guys' team and I'm like, oh, there's those unicorns again, because you guys have like this like presence about you, honestly, that's like very contagious, and you can feel the love definitely, and the connection, and like the unity and the collective that you guys have. And that's like what this is all about, because people feel your vibes. Like, I'm so big on like just your heart and your soul. And I know sometimes people probably think like, is she gonna bust out like in Kumbaya right now? But like, yes, I might, because like that's what gets me going. And the more you have that bond with your tribe, and the more that you guys are like one and working together and rowing in the same direction, the faster you're going to grow and the bigger the things that are going to happen for you and your team. So thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I have, like I said, I have my 6-year-old downstairs. So if he pops up here, you guys might see him. Again, like Kristin said, I'm Kristin Bailey. I've been with LifeVantage just 3 years now. So it's been a whirlwind journey. And I just, just like she said, I went in completely no experience in network marketing. I don't know about you guys. How many of you guys, this is your first experience in network marketing? Or maybe just drop a 1 or something. I'm so bad at like drop a heart if you did, this is your first time. But I am curious to see, I'm going to open the chat. But it was definitely my first rodeo with network marketing. And to be honest, I have never, ever in my life thought that I would end up here, ever. I went to school to be a special ed teacher. That's what I did. And I firmly believe that God, or, whatever the higher being that you believe in, it has a plan for you. Like, your kids pick you out. I feel like my kids picked me out to be their mom. And I am so blessed for that, because after I had my son Grant, I started seeing, signs in him that he was, having some difficulties. And I got him evaluated in San Francisco when he was 2, and he was diagnosed on the autism spectrum a little after he was 2. And because I was an early intervention specialist, on the way home from Sacramento, I remember calling the school that I had worked at. And I was like, I know you have a wait list, but I worked there for 5 years. I need my son in. And he started that Monday. So it was, since, like, as soon as he was diagnosed, I knew he needed to get into early intervention. And that meant I couldn't teach anymore. And I was also in the middle of going through a divorce. So you guys, my world was like, it was crazy. But again, I was just paddling, swimming along, because I had this beautiful boy that, I had to make sure that he was going to be okay. So to work, I was bartending at night, and then I was working as a fitness instructor in the morning. And my mom would watch Grant on the nights that I worked. And I had custody of Grant 75% at that time too. So it was a lot. And I remember going to the bar in Walnut Creek. It was 45 minutes away from my house. I would close the bar, and then I would change in the bathroom and get into my gym clothes. And I work for a gym called Push-Ups to Pin-Ups. It's like an all-girls gym. And I would get in my push-up P2P gear, and I would drive from the bar to the gym, open the gym, and coach for 4 hours. And that was like my life. And then I'd pick up Grant, and when he napped, that's when I would sleep. So you guys, like, I was, to say, like, burning the candle at both ends. Like, it was a lot. But again, you do what you have to do. And never in my mind, still at that point, like, did I think, like, I can't do this forever. I knew I was tired, but I couldn't have another plan at that time. Well, God had another plan for me. So one day I was doing an exercise, and I was doing a pull-up on the bar, and I felt like a pop in my neck, and I popped out 2 of my ribs up here. And I didn't even know we could do that at that time, but I could. And the first thing I did was, can I pour a bottle? Like, can I pour a bottle? Can I go to work tonight? Or can I demo like a move? No, I couldn't do either. I had numbness in my fingers. I mean, it was just bad. And I had, I had no sick time. I had no no money saved in the bank at that time. So I was desperate to get better. And I tried all the things, like you were talking about your cold showers. Like, cryotherapy is something that I do 3 times a week. I love it. I'm all about, like, that. It's another way of biohacking. Anything biohacking, I'm all about it. And so, but nothing was healing me. And it took someone that I love. And this goes to show too, when we are in a business of sharing, not selling. This is never about, I always tell my team, don't ever say, I didn't get enough sales this month. Like, that sounds so like nails on a chalkboard to me, because that is so not what we're about. That is so not, like, at all. I don't think of it like that at all. It's all sharing. It's all sharing. It's all, what can I do to make your life better? To make you feel better? What can I do to ease some of the things, like, the hardships that you're going through in any way? If I can do that for you, I'm about that life. So it's literally, so it took someone that I know and trust saying, you should try this little yellow pill. And you guys, at first, I literally was just like, okay, like, dang it, Jane, like, why? Like, why did you ask me? Like, why did you do this? Because I love her. She's like a second mom to me. And she's like, no, just try it for 3 months. And you guys, at that time, I probably had $16 in my bank account. Like I was like scraping by. My parents had loaned me money and it was hard. So I'm like, if this is like just something that, you know, is, I can't even afford for it to not work or whatever. I can't afford just to try it. But I did because I loved her. And 2 months in, I went to her and I told her, I'm like, okay, have been a migraine sufferer my whole life. I haven't had one migraine since I've started. I'm starting to, you know, heal. My chiropractor is asking what I'm doing because my neck is like all in a line. Everything is good. So I asked her, I said, Jane, do you think that I could do this? Like, I was so nervous. And she's like, absolutely. I went to a meeting at Angie Harper's house. I opened up, again, it's the tribe. I opened up to them. And I think I had talked about this on a call. So if you guys have heard this before, I'm trying not to bore you guys, but I was sitting at Angie's house. And again, you guys, for all the moms out there and dads, like your kids, like that's like your, like, I don't know, like I feel like my heart beats for my boys. Like that is like my why. That is like there's no greater gift that I've ever been given than those boys. And when Grant was diagnosed on the spectrum, I didn't know how to process it. I almost felt like I was to tell my family, like I was nervous, like did something wrong, or in a way, like it was really hard for me to open up about it. And I sat at Angie Harper's table with women that I had no idea. And at that time, her team was only like 6 or 7 people. And we all were going around and sharing about ourselves. And I just like totally blurted out. And my son was diagnosed with autism last week. And then like the floodgates opened and I just was bawling. And they all cried with me. And I didn't know Angie, and Angie got up and hugged me. And I remember like leaving that day being, and I still get chills when I talk about it, but leaving that day being like, this is so much more than a product. This is like, this is really a community. This is like these people, these hearts. And I went home and I told my fiance, I'm like, so we're going to have to put it on your credit card because I don't have any money, like, or credit card space, but I need to buy a gold pack today. And he's like, okay, here you go. So he totally was on board. And he still to this day says, I've never in my life like ever seen you so excited and so convicted. And from that day, you guys, I just was like, I'm going for it. And I didn't let, and yeah, people in my family, like, what do you mean, Kristin, you have your master's? Like, what are you doing this? You can't do this. This is a scam. I had everyone. And I was like, it's okay because, this is how like, I mean, now I don't say this to people, but I was so excited and so like, just unapologetic about it that I was like, that's okay that you want to say no or be a skeptic right now, because in a couple months, you're going to come to me and you're going to buy it and you're going to feel amazing and you're going to thank me. So it's just a matter of time. If you want to do it now, if you want to feel great now and thank me, or later, like it's fine. And they're like, what? And you guys, I would be at weddings, like with family members. And I was just like, you know, they're like, oh, and they're like, really? I'm like, mm-hmm. So like my excitement was always bigger than any skeptic. My like, you know, determination that no, you really need this. Like, no, clean out your medicine cabinet. I'm serious. Just put this up there. Like get that Vitality stock box. You'll be good. I was so like, sure of it because I felt so good. And then I saw, you know, my son's results and my mom and dad's results. And then my friends that started taking it. It was the trickle down effect of like, oh my gosh, so I just helped this person. Now who can I help? So it was, I mean, I got to Pro 5 in 5 months. And it was, I mean, just kind of, I have to say too, the team and that's like also like my heart, the team that we've been able to create out here, you guys, is probably so similar to yours. It's not even about me. Like when people are like Pro 7, I'm like, I know we did it. It's not me. It's we. Like it's constantly, because without them, I could never have done this. And they are constantly, I mean, we're pouring into each other. And it's just that like teamwork of like, what can we do to build each other to make sure that it's not, I don't want to be the only pro 7. I want everyone on my team to be a pro 7. That is the goal. That is where it's at. And that's where I feel like I'll be really excited when I see, we have almost 3 pro 6s now on my team. And I'm like, that's huge. Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal. So it's just been, and constantly communicating with each other. That's been like the really, and setting goals and checking in. And I always tell people too, like when you have someone sign up as a distributor, because again, like just go through the steps, like, just look it up. You're like, sometimes people, that's not enough. Like I literally take them on like a tour, like they're going into a home for the first time. Like, okay, so right down here, this is where you turn the handle to get into the house. And like, it's almost, and I know people are probably like, oh gosh, Kristin, it's like baby steps, but it is, it's like baby steps. You have to be like, and here to the right is where you go to the bathroom. And then when you're done with the bathroom, you wash your hands right here. And then the towel's right here. You could dry them right here. And then you walk back out to the right. And that's where the living room is. Like, I literally feel like with starting this, you have to be so delicate. Otherwise, people get so overwhelmed. And so leading them and setting them up for success right out of the gates is so crucial. Like, I will literally sit down with them on a Zoom and have them fill out the launch guide with me. And then they're like, oh, I could just do it by myself. I'm like, no, let's do it together. They're like, okay. And I'm like, it's quality time for us. Let's do this. Like, you have to like want to get them excited about it. And then towards the end of that, they're like, okay, so what do I do now? Like, who should I reach out to? I'm like, pick people on your list. So you get them excited, you sit them down with them, because it is hard when we first get started. And I always tell people too, like, I have heard very many people say, well, when I got started, I didn't have all these tools. And it always reminds me, like, I told my mom the other day, I go, so I have to say, I said, I almost said this to someone. And then I thought, oh my gosh, how does it make me feel when like an older person says, like, I had to walk uphill in the snow 2 miles uphill, like both ways, to and from school. I like, that doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't change like that I'm still here, like, you know what I mean? Starting or whatever. So I always like tried really hard to not do that to my team. Like, well, when I started, we only had the ABC video. Like, I feel, because how many guys, you guys have heard that before, right? And now we have all of this, and the person's looking at you like, yeah, well, I'm still feeling stuck. So what are you saying? So that's why taking their hand, showing them, and just really paying extra special attention to a person that's just joining your team, because they're just joining your family, taking them and really just, going over each step and through the virtual house is huge. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling, sorry. But I really feel like just having that connection and that trust with your team and that friendship, and know what makes them tick, know their families, like know about their kids, know about like what their goals are. Like for me, it's fine. It's not financial freedom. Mine is time freedom. So know the difference between the two, because somebody's why, and it might be financial freedom for some, for some of your crew. But for me, I want to be on the beach with my boys. I want to go into the hiking in the mountains. Like, I want to do that whenever we want. And that's my motivation. So like hearing about like the fancy money and all that stuff for me is not it, but the time, the quality time that I can get with my kids, and being with Grant right now and doing the schoolwork with him. And, that's what makes me tick. So know what makes your team tick, know what makes your downline tick, and what motivates them to do essentially. So that's kind of my story.
Oh my gosh, you are just so darling.
I talk with my hands.
Loves you. Me too. And I've totally been guilty of that, because I've told my team several times, when we got started, we didn't have anything. So I won't say that anymore.
It was like a light bulb moment. Like, I was literally, because I was really close to saying that, and I'm like, how is this really going to make her? Probably not so good. Like, and then I felt like a 100-year-old, like, I'm in the snow uphill both ways, and you're so lucky to be here.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. So did your team start off with like home meetings? Sounds like you guys are close, like with Angie and that house, but now I'm assuming you're not doing that. So what is your team doing now? Do you do launches? Like this is when they join the biz, you do a business launch for them, and what is your kind of system that you're
So
doing?
we still get together because our local team is so big. And so in Brentwood, like I always say, I'm like, Brentwood is activated AF. Like we literally, like that's like my like hashtag, like Brentwood is activated. And that's even more reason for us to go other places like around this area, because we just signed on Latasha, the owner of P2P, the gym that I worked at. She owns 5 gyms out in this area, and I went to her house yesterday, and she's my newest distributor. And she's like, everybody in Brentwood knows about it. She's like, but if you drive 30 minutes to Concord, nobody knows about it. So that's going to be like her reach. But yeah, we literally plan a launch party within 1 week of them signing up. So, and that's, you know, for either virtual or we can do in person. I have a question. How did you get your family and friends to the place where they are purchasing or signing the bottom line? Okay. As a distributor or a customer?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Kamila, do you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Yeah, sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought.
Oh no, you're okay.
So,
I love questions.
Basically, I mean, without it sounding salesy, like, how do you get the mindset of, you know, with you move with a lot of aloha, and it's obvious to all of us because that's how we move. You know, very, very open, very warm. We're very welcoming, very understanding of timing. However, how do you, you know, get them to move closer to either making the purchase or making signing the bottom line as becoming a distributor? Like, is there anything that you have found in your tactics of the way that you share that helps them to make that decision or get closer to that decision quicker?
So I will say that a lot of people, and this is something that I feel like you guys could totally capitalize on because you have the same thing. So I saw that video of Kristin with you guys as the unicorns. And I seriously watched it like 10 times, you guys. Like I was
that was Kamaile's idea.
I literally see we're friends, girl. Like you're my people. Okay. That is what I'm talking about though. That is life. But I was like, I want to be there. Like I had actual FOMO. Like I had FOMO. Like I was like, I need to be there. Like, should I book a flight? Like, should I switch teams? This is weird. I have these weird feelings right now. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like that, the more of that you do is like that, there's going to be those people that resonate. Like I'm also a unicorn, you know, and they're going to contact you and you have the ability to, so if you put that on your stories, you can pick out the people that you actually want to be unicorns with you that have watched it. So I will go through my stories and I'll be like, oh, Tiffany, like I see you looking at my posts, seeing my team, you know, you want to be a part of this. And she's like, oh my God, I do. And I'm like, I know. Newest distributor, Tiffany. That's my girl. But that kind of stuff, like sending them a voice message and just being like, oh my gosh, like I saw you looking at my picture and I'm waiting. I almost photoshopped you in it because I just can't wait for you to like join us, you know? So
Aww.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, but it's true. Like you reach out to the people that, you know, that resonate with your heart. And that's pretty much what I've done. Or they reach out to me and they're like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I want to be a part of this crew. And again, it's not even about the products. The products are the icing on the cake, right? Because there's nothing out there there's nothing that has what we have at all product wise, but make the team wise just as appealing and you're golden. So I don't know if I answered that question for you or not.
Yeah, I totally hear you. It's like attraction marketing. Like you're showing how much fun you're having and people want that, especially now. People are, you know, cooped up and missing their community. So I totally get that. You obviously like I think it's your posture. You're just so confident and you just like came out of the gates with that. So, you know, what would you say to someone who doesn't have like a super, you know, outgoing, more like a shy person? Because I'm sure you have people on your team that don't have your personality. Like what would you recommend?
So
like, what's your advice?
My biggest thing to like my whole team, and like once they get this out of their mind, they fly. Like don't ever, ever, ever try to be anyone but you. Like, don't ever try to be, just because I'm here right now, like, I didn't do it by imitating Angie Harper 100%. I didn't do it adapting to her leadership. I mean, I definitely, you know, absorb what I can from her, but I'm never going to be Angie Harper, and I'm never going to be Tara Wilson. I mean, I have to be Kristin Bailey. And the moment like that I owned that, and that is, you know, I'm a mom. I love working out. I love fun. I love funny, and I love like anything, just, you know, just owning that and kind of repeating that stuff daily. So if you're shy and more reserved, you know, just even if it's one voice message to someone on a messenger, like, I know that you have migraines and I just wanted to share something with you. Are you open to having a conversation? Just you know, because that might be really hard for some people. But again, if you write it down and just like have it, those small goals are going to be are huge goals, and crossing them out. I always have like, so for me, like crossing out, you guys, I'm going to show you an example of like my notes. Like, this is like so cluttered and like a mess, but I have checkoff lists every single day that I make myself do. And so if you're shy, if you're, you know, reserved or whatever, try to overcome one small thing a day. And like I said, that, you know, that's going to lead to bigger and bigger and bigger things. And I don't know, and just getting out of your own way and not taking yourself so seriously. I feel like sometimes people say, oh, I'm so shy, but it's not really, you're not really shy. Like, I feel like you're just kind of nervous, you know, like, and that's okay too, but you deserve to be, you know, like, to laugh at yourself. If you mess up, or if it doesn't go as planned, laugh it off and don't take yourself so seriously, and just be like, you know what, there's a million other people in this world that I'm going to talk to. So yeah, I get another chance. So, I mean, I just feel like a lot of times people get in their own way and they let that kind of sink them lower. Like, I can't do this because I'm shy, or I can't do this because but do you like people? Yeah, I love people. Well, do you want to make a difference? Yeah, I want to make a huge difference. Well, do you know someone that's in pain? Yeah, I know a ton. Okay, so what are you saying? You know? So that's kind of, and then it's all mindset, you know, it's just getting out of your way and pushing past your fears and insecurities.
I love that. It's so true. Because yesterday, someone on my team was like, who just is super bubbly too. She's like, she watched Susan Alden. They did their team call. They did a call for us yesterday, and she's like, I think I need to be more calm, like Susan. I'm like, no, you need to be you. That's the beauty of it, right? Like, we just need to be ourselves and be genuine with who we are, and that's exactly what you're saying. So I totally relate to that. I think it's just about the bottom of the hour. It looks like we had one more question from Julia. So first step is launch party within a week. I'm not sure if that's true for your team. What's next? Okay.
So then what's next is, well, let's ask Julia, is she available to talk?
Yeah. Julia, you there? Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, it's what you were saying before Kamali asked her question. You just said that usually when you have a new team member, you try to plan a launch in a week, and then you were about to say the next step, and then you answered a different question. So I didn't know what the next.
Yeah. So we do the launch party within the week, and then we make sure that all of them reach out to, you know, whoever came to the party, whether it's virtual or in person, and then, you know, ask if they have any questions. Also with the launch party, so we used to do it where it was like, okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming. Now, instead of that, we walk through, before we log off, we will actually walk through and be like, okay, who needs help setting up their carts? Like, immediately, because if we get off the phone with them, you know what's going to happen, life's going to happen, and they get busy, and, you know, it's not because they don't want to, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, a week goes by and you're like, this person never got back to me. So that's what we did last Friday night. And just having small launches too, you guys. We had a new girl last week. She had 6 friends on, and then her, Roller, and me, we did the launch. but all 6 of them joined, like all 6 of them became customers that night. And we just started doing the implementing the like, okay, so let's go through, you know, so smaller is actually better, because it was like, Grace, I know you had a question about Axio. Did you want to add Axio onto the Vitality Stack that you wanted to purchase? And then did you have any questions about the fat burn? So it's like constantly being like, do you want fries with your shake? Or do you want, you know, like, do you want me to supersize it with the fat burn? Or, you know, adding that, having that conversation, and all of them. And then they're like, wait, what's the difference between the decaf Axio and the caffeinated? Maybe my kids need the decaf. I mean, her carts, all of the carts that she had ended up, they purchased were all over 200 PV. So this new distributor, Kelly, literally made the pool her first like day off of her first launch. And yeah, that's not typical. So, you know, we haven't seen something like that, but it was super exciting. And it literally, and it was 1 point to Cabo. And like, so for her, that like lit her fire, you know, like she's like, oh my gosh, Life Manage is awesome. You know, where if we're like, okay, we'll do your launch in about a week, and then we'll see, or I mean, about a month or whatever, and we'll see what you're, you know, follow the steps first, make sure you know everything. And that's the thing. Like, I always, like, people think they always have to know everything first. Like, you guys, I'm still guessing on so much. There's so much that I don't know. All I know is that I really love people, and all I know is that this is important to share with people. And if that's all you say to someone, I would be like, oh my gosh, okay, thanks. Like, that's a good thing. Like, I don't know all the things. I'm not a scientist. I was, you know, I'm a mom. And so I don't have all the answers, but I do know I'm so passionate about it. And I do know that it makes a huge difference for so many people. So yeah, so that's what we did for Kelly last week. And then tonight, one of our girls, like I said, Latasha, the gym owner, she's doing her launch tonight. So yeah, we have them reach out, and then I make sure that she follows up obviously at the end of the first month for all of her new customers. I don't know if
that's amazing. So are you literally like, okay, pull out your phones. We're going to walk you through, she's going to send you the website, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really good idea. It's just,
yeah.
It's a call to action, and it's like, it's directing them, because a lot of times it's just like, okay, what did you like? You know, that's how we're trained. So I really like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I mean, and literally it's funny because one of the girls was like, oh my gosh, like, you got me. And I'm like, no, there's no pressure. Cause she was like, I'm nervous about it or whatever. And I'm like, you don't have to buy anything. I was like, but you just were curious. So no pressure at all. And she was like, no, this is actually a really good thing. She's like, otherwise I would talk myself out of it. Well, this same girl literally yesterday sent Kelly a text message like, I don't know what's in this stuff, but it's freaking amazing. I feel so good. And now she wants to talk about being a distributor. So sometimes it's just that like loving push of like,
absolutely,
you know, like, this is going to help you. It's not, because she was like, I drink 7 cups of coffee a day. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's too much. I love coffee too, but that's a lot, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you so much. Kamaile, did you want to ask your question? One last question before we go?
Oh my gosh, this is so selfish of me, but I am like the graphic artist queen, and so I love all this stuff. And I have been wanting to know your insider tips of like Team Heart. Like, how do you guys get all these beautiful graphics, and do you share them, and do you guys all post the same thing, or do you know, like?
So I'm not actually Team Heart.
Oh, you're not?
No, that's Rachel Jackson. So we are we're yeah, I'm like, whoop. So when I started, no, but she does she makes them accessible to everyone. But we actually have Ashley Patton, who's one of my distributors. I can actually give you guys a ton of our graphic designs, because Ashley does very similar ones to Rachel's. So if you ever need any, I can totally send you all of the stuff that we have.
I was thinking we should collectively start a Facebook closed group for all of us distributors, and we just all keep feeding that group so that we have a plethora to share from, because I know that another company that my friend is in does that, and it's so helpful, because other than that, we're all taking snapshots of everyone else's.
It makes a huge difference too. And I'm always like, I want to share this with everyone. If everyone can use it, it's like, why not? We're all the same team, truthfully. And so yeah, Rachel, her graphics are incredible. But she always opens them up to everyone too. So I can, I'll definitely, are we friends on Facebook? I can message you some too.
Not yet. And I'm signed in as Sarah, but I'm technically Kamiley. So
Okay.
yay.
It says Kamiley on there.
Oh, good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Kristin. You're just so much, you're just love. You're pure love and joy and fun. And we just so appreciate you taking the time. I'm so happy to be connected to you. And I know my whole team is as well. And so we're just so grateful. So thank you so
I'm happy to
much.
be here.
Yay.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day. Aloha.
Bye.
Bye.